Hey everyone, we are back with another critique corner, and today we'll be featuring some battles from Dannies in Ultra League. This team is very spicy, so I'm very excited to see how these battles played out. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. We'll take a look at this team in a second. And oh, it's Flippin' Coop. I definitely know that person. I think they're in California. They were at the San Diego Regional. Alright, it's Miltank with a Alolan Raichu in Deoxys Defense. So pretty spicy team. This is definitely going to be a decent lead matchup. No Thunderbolt is going to definitely hurt a little bit, but we do get a shield from the opponent. And resisting the Shadow Claw is definitely going to be a pretty good situation for this Miltank. Really good optimization from Dannies, so definitely making the most out of this matchup too, especially that 3-turn move, getting a lot of utility there. And not going to shield any moves. I like to play, and then I like that too, right? Throw the body slam, don't get fainted out by the Shadow Claw. Ends up being ends up being caught on the Tapu Fini. It's an interesting swap. So I don't hate this swap, because in all likelihood, what they have in the back are two things that beat counter users. Tapu Fini is okay into fighters, but kind of more neutral into Deoxys Defense. In all likelihood, their third Pokemon might be a Ghost type or something that's really good in Deoxys Defense. I don't know how Alolan Raichu is going to fare into that, but yeah, I probably would come in Alolan Raichu here. But let's see how the backline looks. Mainly because Alolan Raichu and Deoxys Defense share a lot of weaknesses, but Alolan Raichu is a little bit harder to use in some respects. Alright. I don't think Flippin' Coop comes. Okay, no, never mind. Does come in with Alolan Sandslash. I expect them to probably let this go. Yeah, they do. And coming straight away with Alolan Raichu is going to be really good for Dannies. Yeah, the Shadow Claw is going to add up as expected. It's something else that also beats the Deoxys Defense, but Alolan Raichu is going to have a pretty positive matchup with this electric damage. Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be GG's. Yeah, well played throughout. I didn't really see any noticeable mistakes. I'm very curious to see how this team performs because, oh, and this is actually a trainer that's already hit Legend 2964, so definitely that makes sense given how skilled they were with their optimization. Sometimes I just say, you know, there's only so much you could do with the team if it doesn't perform very well in general. But yeah, so I'm very curious to see how that Alolan Raichu is going to work, just because Miltank's already kind of hard to use, so having Miltank and Alolan Raichu on the same team is definitely maybe not the easiest team to use, but Dannies clearly is doing something with it for sure. Alright, is going to swap to this Alolan Raichu. This might be a brutal swing. Yeah, it's a good shield. Alolan Raichu is definitely on the more frail end. It's going to be a brutal swing. Opponent does not swap out. So, okay, yeah. That's a really good sign. Meaning that they don't have a great check. But also, you draw out the Jellicent so that your Deoxys Defense has a little bit more play. Alright. Trainer is going to shield and then swap back over. A great catch, actually. I mean, I think the opponent just had to throw the energy. But having, and catching the energy on a Talonflame is not great. Yeah, I mean, this Alolan Raichu is putting in work for sure. Core breaking the entire backline. And shields are down. Oh my gosh, wait, hold on. I think that last Thunder Punch probably could have been thrown. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm not sure if the Incinerate damage went through or not, or maybe it's an overtap. But I think it was definitely possible. This is a little awkward. I think you live this Brave Bird, though. Let's see. Yeah, Deoxys Defense is very bulky. And you get the Thunderbolt? Yeah. So, even without getting that Thunder Punch through, Thunderbolt is going to come through and take it out. Yeah, I mean, Raichu would look pretty good in that situation. I think it's a core breaker that a lot of people don't expect to see, so a lot of teams are not prepared for it. Alright. Definitely gatekeeping some people trying to chase for that legend rank. Pretty solid lead again. Looks like there might have been some lag there. I'm not sure. But either way, still doing great job of optimizing. You can tell that Danny's is doing everything they can to make sure that the opponent doesn't get any free turns. And it's definitely going to be pretty good. As expected, in a ELO range of this caliber. Ooh, okay. This is kind of similar to a previous team we saw. I wonder if it's going to be the same thing or not. I think the last time it was a Tapu Fini in the back. So let's see how that plays out for the back-end matchup. Okay. Maybe through one counter extra, although I think you still get the Psycho Boost either way. Maybe you could throw in Psycho Boost beforehand. But that's fine. You maintain switch advantage, which is okay too. Alright, this is a little awkward. And this is where Alone Righteous is not going to be nearly as good. You do have a Psychic though. And let's see if the opponent shields. Probably doesn't shield. Yeah, it does not shield, but these have 2 shields left. This is really tough. This is where, again, it's more so you can only do so much if you have a Lone Raichu on your team in this situation. It does just get checked by a lot of things in the meta. Unfortunately, not enough. I like this though. Throw on CMP. If the opponent is smart, they're definitely going to just shield this. And yeah, they're going to shield and can be a good game there. Sorry, my memory card was filling up, so I had to restart my camera real quick. But we are back on track, and let's see how this plays out. Another Alolan Sandslash. Yeah, Alolan Sandslash definitely is a little bit annoying, especially when you don't have that Thunderbolts. Let's see how Danny's plays this out. I think it's going to be the same way. I don't actually know if it's better to face the Shadow variant or the non-Shadow variant. But Miltank is going to start chunking away at this Alolan Sandslash. Alright. Alright. Yeah, opponent did not shield at all, which makes the matchup a little bit tougher. It's going to make a very similar play as last time. And then we draw the Clefable, which is not too bad, all things considered. Because it's not really a reliable check, and the opponent actually shields that Thunderbolt. Kind of a curious shield there, because it's very unlikely Danny's actually was going to go for the Psycho Boost this early in the matchup. But maybe they're hoping for a Moonblast debuff. I don't know. In my opinion, that's just not really a great shield from the opponent, but that's just my take on that one. Alright, and then swapping over for the combo play. I like this a lot. Waste some of the energy on this Clefable. It gets wasted completely. Yeah, in that situation, I mean, if you knew that the Lone Sandslash had energy, oh, okay, really nice. You don't really want to throw on CMP, and this is really nice because Charizard are just locked in, and the opponent is just going to quit out there. So well played overall. Again, no real critiques for Danny's here. I mean, I think the gameplay is really solid. It's just, I'm curious how this team is going to perform, but I guess they're climbing with it, so I can't really say too much about that. Yeah, you can pretty much have to shield these. Alone Raichu, though, looks pretty good. My guess is that it kind of is core breaking the back end. Great catch from the opponent there to recognize. Yeah, the timing on that, I guess. I guess that's more of a prediction because you can't really optimize 4-turn to 2-turn. You get the Volt Switch too. This might not be a bad shield. Yeah, I like this a lot. Try to... Oh, threw on CMP. This is huge because look at the health on this Ampharos. I think they're almost at shield KO range, so it's a really risky shield from the opponent. And they threw on CMP. Oh, okay, yeah. They must have 2 HP. But really good though, because you get maximum value in the situation. Yeah, you're down a shield, but you force the opponent into a really bad situation, which is nice. Alright, this is kind of awkward though. Because they still have a shield and they Feather Dance. They did throw the... I mean, okay, they don't shield, which is actually kind of nice. So it's not the end of the world. Maybe you try to catch on a Brave Bird. Ooh. Really good heads up play. Catching on the Brave Bird is huge. Because you expend a lot of that energy. I like this to build up the potential Thunderbolt because I don't think the opponent's seen it yet. Yeah, really nice. Now you can get the Bison. I think you probably still lose this because they get to the Mega Horn. And I don't think you live this Mega Horn. No, not from this range, I think. Yeah. But I think overall, well played. Especially for a core breaker lead like that, right? You just don't have a lot of great options. The only thing I would suggest in that matchup is maybe you safe swap the Deoxys Fence into the Escavalier, sorry, instead of the Alolan Raichu, because Alolan Raichu is a little bit more reliable as a counter for it. But, you know, maybe it just doesn't. Maybe you still don't win switch advantage against the Ampharos, right? So it's hard to say. All right, Swampert, yeah, just a lot of things that kind of core breaks his team, which is a little unfortunate. Goes for potentially the CMP body slam, which I don't hate. Yeah. So able to grab a shield, which is nice. Oh my gosh, and get into another body slam. Pretty big. That's huge. Forcing the opponent to double shield. I mean, Swampert lead probably sweet to Alolan Raichu, but it's hard to say because Alolan Raichu is not super meta. They could easily self Glare and stomp this in back, right? And that would not be a good situation. Okay. They come in with the Weezing. Yeah, you just overfarm a little bit. I mean, Brutal Swing's pretty quick. You could probably get at least one Volt Switch through of energy. That's fine. I guess it doesn't really KO anyway. Oh, I guess not. Okay, I was off on my counts. I mean, it is sped up twice. But yeah, well, good read by Danny's. I mean, the Thunder Punch didn't end up KOing anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. Ooh, good Volt Switch down. Oh, there we go. Core Breaker for sure. I wasn't a Core Breaker, actually, just a pretty good backline matchup. Again, like, is it necessary? Like, can you do the same thing with Ampharos? Probably, but resisting counter damage is kind of nice in that situation. All right. Snorlax. I think I recognize that name too. I think an EU trainer. All right. Oh, swapping, trying to maybe catch a Thunderbolt. I don't know. But yeah, this is not going to be a good time just because this is a great matchup for the Miltank and it's exactly what Danny's wants to see. So just stays in, which I think is a pretty good play. All right, it's going to throw the Ice Beams and just really add up damage. Is there any point in swapping out? I don't think so. I think you just stay in this matchup, do as much damage as you can, and then just go straight for that Ice Beam. Yeah, just take this thing out, right? Maybe you could get like 1 or 2 body slams off afterwards, depending on what they come in with. Yeah, getting another body slam worth of damage is definitely meaningful. And then not swapping out, I like that. Just maintaining the alignment so you could get the Raichu on top of the Charizard. This is probably going to be a bait, but... Oh no, they go straight for the Blast Run. Really? Oh, and that is not going to be a fun time. Yeah. Yes, defense is going to be able to clean up there. Yeah, so really good understanding of just staying in a matchup that is obviously more favorable. Just because they swap does not mean that you want to swap. Yeah, really good fundamentals, honestly, overall. So far, the only thing I can think of is that one loss where maybe you swap the ass defense, but even then, that's like questionable that you don't necessarily have to do that. All right, pretty good lead, and you have a pretty good backline matchup. Going straight for the body slam, interesting. Maybe just doesn't want to get debuffed. Yeah, it's going to let this go though, but the opponent might burst Brave Bird. No, okay, they don't. You could potentially stay in there and throw the Ice Beam too, especially because they're not at a Brave Bird anytime soon. But you do draw out the Giratina, which is quite nice, and you have energy. So maybe this is definitely the better play, because you have two. Well, the Oxygen is kind of a soft check, but you do have a harder check in that Alolan Raichu later. And you do want to draw out the Giratina eventually. I like that first Thunderbolt because you don't want to debuff yourself too early, and now you can throw the back-to-back Psycho Boost, although you're already debuffed from the Pidgeot, so it doesn't matter too much. It's going to come in and throw the Ice Beam. Let's see if this was... No, it's not CMP. Oh, wait, what the heck was that? Virizion? Yeah, Virizion. They definitely did not expect that. I probably would shield this. Okay, no shield. Yeah. I think that would have been fine if you could live the Sacred Sword, but now you just don't have a lot of health. The problem is the opponent still has 2 shields remaining. Yeah, you need to do something about these shields. Virizion is also going to be pretty strong into Raichu. I guess you could... man, that's so tough. Yeah, the problem is, I mean, Pidgeot's not going to be able to one-shot you with Brave Bird, but it's definitely going to do some damage. Good psychic though. Going straight for it. I guess you could potentially bait, but I think you just gotta make a 50-50 call, and Danny's made the right call for sure. Yeah, that's where Raichu's a little bit rougher. I think you potentially just shield the Miltank in that situation. I don't know. I think that would be probably the play. Just yeah, just shielding that Miltank, keeping it healthy against this Giratina. Wait, this is a different match. Yeah, he came in the Miltank, and then they came in Virizion. I probably shield it in that situation, or I wouldn't swap to Miltank. I let the Deoxys defense get fainted out, and then come in with Miltank after with energy, right? Getting that Miltank locked into Virizion is a little rough. All right, pretty solid matchup. You don't really want this thing on your Deoxys defense, although Deoxys defense is on the bulkier end. Ooh, big shield on the Zap Cannon though. I like this. And then now you swap over and you draw the Trevenant, which is definitely ideal. You want to get this out of the way so that the Alolan Raichu is in a much better spot. Trevenant resisting all that electric damage and having super effective fast moves and charge moves is not going to be a great time. I want to go straight for a Shadow Ball, which makes sense. Good optimization yet again from Danny's, trying to make the most of this situation. This is pretty good because you don't really have the shield, a C-Bomb. I think you are... Yeah, Danny's is down shield and doesn't have switch advantage, which I say this a lot, but typically it's true. It's very hard to win in these situations. Not impossible though, and this is definitely going to be a good setup for a potential sweep in the back. But Raichu's kind of frail, and it doesn't really matter if this Poliwrath has Ice Punch or Scald. It's not going to be a great time, and Scald is definitely the less ideal situation you want to be in. Does get the Psychic off, but the problem is... I don't know. You could potentially someone. I don't know. The rollouts are not doing anything, unfortunately. Ooh, that's tough. Opponent no shields as well. I mean, no Thunderbolt, so it doesn't really matter too much. Oh, and they have Ice Punch too. They definitely shield this, but you kind of have throw because there's no way you roll out down. And then, yeah, unfortunately, able to outpace to that final Ice Punch. So, yeah, typically speaking, again, if you don't have switch advantage and you are down a shield, it's very tough to win. But, you know, I think overall in that matchup is so solid for the most part. I'm trying to think, what was the shield? Oh, yeah, you hit the shield Zap Cannon. It makes sense. You had to draw the Trevenant as well, right? But just that backline was a little bit tougher just because of how much neutral play the Poliwrath has into the team. Despite the fact that it's water type, it still does a lot of damage to Raichu. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think the gameplay was pretty solid from Danny's. Honestly, again, I think some of these losses were maybe more due to team composition. Obviously, Danny's already hit Legend and has the skill to beat a lot of skilled battlers, so maybe is not playing very hard meta picks, which is totally fine and understandable. And you know, GBL should be not only just for skill purposes, but also for fun. So hopefully Danny's is having fun with that team. Yeah, overall, I don't have a lot of criticism for Danny's in terms of gameplay. I think the team itself is just a little bit on the harder side to use. I think arguably, I'm not sure which was the weaker link, Miltank or Raichu, just because Miltank, yeah, it beats a lot of the ghost types, and it does decent against some of the dragons, but overall, there are probably better alternatives to that specific core than, and specific lead Pokemon than Miltank. And then Alolan Raichu, you know, we don't see it very meta relevant because of all these ground types, all these ghost types in Go Battle League, especially in Ultra League. So a little bit harder to use again, but you know, with a very skilled trainer, you can make a lot of teams work. It's just that I think Danny's probably would climb a lot more with a very meta pick. But either way, it was cool to see those Pokemon showcase, and you know, really good gameplay overall from Danny. So thank you for sharing that footage. And if you'd like to have footage reviewed by me, please send me some footage for either Master League or when Fantasy Cup Ultra League rolls around. Feel free to send me some of that at Peng on Twitter, or as they call it, X. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time.